This is WOMM operating out of Burlington from 105.9 The Radiator. Good evening, it's The Rocket Shop. I'm your host, as ever, Tom Proxer, and with me tonight is Danny. Hello.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
I'm good. I was going to say Danny of Danny in the Parts, but then you made a little comment just before we started about X-Band. So how do we refer to you these days?
Oh, that's still good. Part's still hanging in.
Okay, the
Yeah.
part's still happening.
Yeah.
Well, good to know. We always like kicking it off with a song. So what have you got to start us off with?
A new one I wrote called This Time Tomorrow. This time tomorrow, I'll be coming on a plane. This little city, I think I'm going astray. Fast as the screen door, rust in the rain, just like the coyotes that dance near the trains. Well, I want you to lay me down to sleep. I want you to stay the night with me. This time tomorrow, well, I'll be coming on to play. I want you to lay me down to sleep, and I want you to stay the night, yeah, this time tomorrow, I'll be coming on to play.
This Time Tomorrow there by Danny and the Parts. That's a beautiful song to start us off with. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
So you say that that's a new one of yours.
It's a new one.
So tell us a little bit about the work that you've been working on recently. Is this heralding maybe a new project or a solo album?
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm trying to make a lot of records lately somehow with little money, as everyone knows who knows me. And, you know, I'm having a lot of fun doing it. I write a lot, and so I just kind of feel like I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss the being in the moment of these tunes if I wait. So I kind of try to push the recording maybe too fast sometimes for the band or the studio, but I just kind of want to keep it going. At least one a year is lately what's been happening. So it's kind of a lot, but I'm looking forward to having that song on the one we're going to be recording this year.
Excellent. And has this already been sketched out? Do you have a scaffold for this project, or is this more of a glint in your eye at this point that's yet to kind of have the bones created?
Yeah, I mean, I think that actually where we're sitting right now at Big Heavy World, across the hall in A9 Studios, my friend Luke Autry is going to be hopefully recording this new album with Danny and the Parts. He also plays bass in that project, so I think 15 feet from where we're sitting. It's going to be happening.
History will be made.
Yeah. We've been rehearsing as much as we can and got a pretty good amount already over the 10 to 15 song mark, which is kind of where I've been hitting lately, which is feeling good because for a while it was like 5 or 6 songs, first couple albums. So getting more is good for me. I like it.
So with these projects, are these one a year? Is it a case of you write 15 and those are the 15 you record, or are you writing just dozens and then it's like a real hard job to kind of whittle it down to something?
Yeah, there you go.
That
yeah.
one.
Yeah, it's definitely like you see these notebooks here. I got a bunch of them. I steal them from my daughters. I buy them for my daughters and then I steal them from my daughters. And then they're like, "Daddy, where's my notebook?" And I'm like, "That's kind of my notebook." Yeah. But I have them a lot. All my songs in notebooks. And yeah, there's probably like every year, like 50 to 100 or more that are, most of them are garbage. So it doesn't matter. But once in a while, you'll find a little piece and, oh, well, maybe I'll put it over on this one and da-da-da. And usually somewhere between the notebook and the band room, it gets kind of flushed out for what it should sound like pertaining to the gig we might be playing too. So I don't want to like sell people too far downstream on the live aspect of the band too when they hear it on the record. I want it to kind of sound like what you're going to hear at a show.
And how often do you go back through these notebooks? You said you kind of take maybe a little bit from one and take a bit from another, and almost like a Frankenstein song. Maybe to your ears, not to ours. It sounds very kind of polished and all together. Yeah. But do you ever flip through your books from 5-10 years ago and find some hidden gems that you didn't appreciate in the moment?
Oh yeah, no, there's the notebooks ranging from from when I was like 5 and 6 and 7, and I definitely I went through all the early stuff already, kind of, but so I'm happy to be. I'd still love to go back and do projects from, I don't want to date myself here, but 20 years ago, when I was 20, and or even 30 years ago when I was playing just with the neighborhood kids. We used to write songs too. So yeah, there's a lot of, there's not enough time, there's a lot of music. There's not enough time, but yeah, more often lately, it's been the new things I'm writing, trying to get those out, and I'm kind of left behind the old stuff for now.
Looking back through your notebooks, do you see yourself? Can you read the evolution you've taken, and do you see the things you write about change and evolve?
I'm working on that part. I'm working on evolution. That's a good point. Yeah, I'm trying to grow as a songwriter, definitely. So I've been, looking into that, however I do. But that seems so hard. I kind of, I went to art school, so I feel like I approach everything from like going to art school in Boston in the 90s. I approach my music the same way, like it's whatever it wants to be. It's free of constraints. But at the end of the day, there is definitely a song that has meaning, whether I like it or not, I think. But I feel like I've been growing as a songwriter. I feel like I've been being able to express maybe just a feeling better. That's kind of what I'm just going for lately, trying to express a certain energy that I'm feeling at the time when I write it.
And how's it been? I mean, we've all, I think about this to every artist that have come through in the past few months, but the pandemic has been an enormously stressful but also watershed moment for so many people, basically all of us really. And I find talking to creative types, the music may have completely changed the way that they have ever approached it, or that they produce it, or what they're writing about. Have you felt that yourself as being any kind of major change in the way that you've been writing or you've been singing or putting things together?
Yeah, I've been. I definitely struggled a little bit at the beginning of all this last year, and was kind of like trying to write something that was going to be meaningful, and because I think everyone was like all about meaning all of a sudden, and people were suffering and different levels, so I kind of felt like I didn't want to screw up, but then I just forgot about that because that's silly. I'm a screw up. No, I'm kidding. But I let go. I let go, and I was just like, okay. Well, I'm kind of upset. I'm like, is that okay? I'm like, all right, yeah, it is. So I just decided to go with that. But then my early mentality, which I was talking about before, just kind of just letting it be whatever it is, kind of always creeps in, and it always comes back to me, having that moment in the day whenever I have a feeling or a emotion or something that is attached to songwriting for me. And no matter what I'm kind of thinking, I kind of go with that anyway, and it kind of shows itself, it kind of reveals itself in time. And so there's been some rough ones and some happy ones along the past year.
Is there a certain moment of the day that you sit down and you write? Do you have like a process or a structure around that, or is it like the burst from above and you grab your daughter's notebook and just start scribbling?
Lately, I'd like to lie to you and say it's in the the dark of the night in some alley, but really it's like it's kind of been like a morning thing. Yeah, I don't know why, but it's been morning lately. Kind of, whenever I have a moment, I'm with my kids a lot. So this year, so I've been, whether I have time or not, I guess it's slightly the burst from above because I don't really always have the most scheduled time, or art doesn't really work that way a lot, where I'm like, I'm gonna schedule time to songwrite from 6 to 8, so I'm usually getting that morning rush with songwriting. So I've been kind of tapping into that, maybe amping the coffee up a little bit and going with that, kind of being ready for it.
Is there any artists that you've been listening to in the background that have been shaping this new project? Or is it just the people that you always listen to?
I just listen to a lot of different people, and whenever I try to write a certain way that entices me, I just don't. It never feels good to me, I'm going to write a song like Prince, or I'm going to, it always comes out just like that. That's a Prince song. Like, or I'm like, oh, right, it is. Actually, it's the same chords. Oh, geez. It's the same song. So, I just listen to as much as I can. I listen to all different kinds of music and people, and, nothing more than the next, really. And maybe a little more country music lately than the next. But yeah, I'll just have all that music influence me just however it does, without really. I kind of make it subconscious, I make a lot of stuff subconscious on purpose.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
As you said, just letting it sit as it is rather than trying to enforce something.
Yeah, I mean, I know things happen in the morning for me, so I'm kind of ready for that, and I leave room for it. And fortunately, I'm really fortunate that I've never had too much of the writer's block. A little bit. But I heard that isn't real, by the way, today. Did you guys hear that? Someone said that. It's fake. I don't know.
I think it's more of a perception thing.
Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. I haven't had too much of it, so I'm pretty happy.
If you're cranking out an album a year, it sounds like it's not been too much of a problem for you so far.
Yeah, I guess not. No, just time. Not enough time.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to hear another song. So,
great.
what have you got for us?
Sure. This song is another new song that I'm Pronto. It's called Flowers. Flowers they gave me, looks like I'll give then forgive 'em. Flowers that gave me my life. Flowers that saved me, looks like I'm longing to follow. Flowers that laid down my life. Because they're magical, because they're magical. Because they're magical. Because it's magical. Do they buy the dancing line? Do they buy the answer your cries? Flowers they gave me.
Danny and the Parts there, and I missed the title of that song. What was that one?
Flowers.
Flowers. So you, as you said, you're pretty prolific. You came out with an album, I thought, actually this year. So there's a plan to get actually the second one out in the same calendar year this year.
Yes,
Wow. So it's actually more than one a year you're going for now.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I just realized that right now, though.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, as you said, you're kind of a bit of a freight train when it comes to this. You've got these ideas and you want to get into the studio.
I want to get in there.
I've met your band before. I've seen you guys play live a couple of times now. How are they with this? You constantly bringing new tracks to them. How does that process go about, going, hey guys, I know we just finished pressing the last one. How about we get going on the next? How's that go?
Well, wouldn't it be interesting that one of the members is actually right here, over there, with a camera in his hands? And I'm sure he would tell you, if he had a microphone, that he loves it and he's ready to do every single thing that happens. No, I think we just got to let it happen naturally. And, what I write is great, but, the band and the time needs to be there. And if that's all, if everybody's on board, then we're ready to go. And I'm sure we will. Because I know these guys are always, they're just super music and art lovers. They live it, they breathe it, so they can't deny it. They can't deny it. It's what they do. These people love art.
You're just giving them what they need.
Well, and they're giving me same thing. It's very reciprocal, and for me, I just kind of gave into it. I don't know. When I was a little kid, I was like, "Am I going to be a baseball player? Am I going to be an actor?" I had these. That was it. That and maybe Wonder Woman. But other than that, it was a musician that just kind of fell on me. I didn't pick it.
So not only have you been prolific about getting in the studio and writing new songs, you're actually possibly one of the only bands that have also been performing the past year. Having a flick through your social media, and Zamban, you were doing a night outside Nectar's at the end of last year. You've done a fair amount in comparison to a lot of people. So, while everyone else was cloistered inside, what was that drive to get get out and find stuff. And how did you even do that?
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, a lot of people. I'm really thankful. Like you guys for one, Zen Barn for one. You know, a lot of guys. Switchback last year, more of the outside stuff was Camp Mead was really helpful to at least have that like once a month. You know, because even, I mean, we were last year we were doing. I think it was like 3 or 4 shows a week lately. You know, kind of one might say too many, but you know, I was having fun. I love doing them. I just love getting out there, and I just feel like I'm being normal when I'm playing shows. You know, it's kind of where I'm weirdly happiest lately. You know, also with my children who I love, but it's also a good balance for me to be local and to be able to do that and be with them. So it was hard for me this year. So I was really lucky to at least have that one, and I know that probably still seems like a lot, but to me it wasn't, you know.
Have you, with kind of, I don't want to jinx it, but you know, the end of the pandemic in sight, at least everyone getting vaccines. Have you been kind of stacking up the gigs for coming up into the summer? Have you got a few lined up?
I've actually kind of weirdly been opposite. I've kind of I'm almost like pulling back a little right now, just because I felt like a natural. I just kind of felt a natural flow to slow down right now, and we've been rehearsing more and writing more, and I almost want, in a way, it's like I almost want to watch. I mean, I've been more than willing to help music and people come back together again, which I hope for. But at the same time, I kind of don't want to have that drive that I used to have a little bit. I just want to, maybe it's just personal, but I'm just kind of feeling like being a little more humble towards pushing for gigs than I usually would be. So right now I'm just kind of trying to, you know, we have a couple things that are looking good this summer though. Like I believe we're going to be doing a Camp Mead and, you know, some different Bolton Valley, you know, some outside kind of great places that I love that we always play, and they're just kind of, it's like, you know, it's been a part of our past. So I'm looking forward to those, but not trying to push right now.
You actually kind of just touched on something I'm quite curious about, and I'd love to get your perspective as an artist with everything hopefully opening up again in the next few months, and so many bands that have been inside for the past year getting gigs and whatnot. Do you see the music scene in Vermont, or maybe just nationwide, changing at all in terms of the way that things are going to go now in comparison to the way things were before the pandemic? Do you think that the industry has changed at all, or the way that people gig and create music has changed at all that will be lasting?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I've been a stagehand at the Flynn Theater for a long time, and not seeing anyone or any shows in there for a year is, I never thought I'd see that. But I'm sure everyone's that, you know, loves it as much as I do is ready to go. So I'm happy for that. But I definitely think that, you know, maybe interpersonally we're all going to have some changes occur. I don't know how, but I feel like there's got to be something. Something's, you know, I don't know. But I look forward to it because, you know, art's got to adapt, you know? So
I feel
think
like creative types are the sort of types that adapt best to it, and everyone else just kind of follows.
Yeah,
afterwards.
that's what we do best. We're like, oh yeah, we'll adapt to that, whatever, you know? But yeah, I can't wait. So kind of looking for some structure that people are going to give, and once we get that, then great. And the sky's the limit, so to speak.
I see you've been doing a little bit of collaboration in the meantime as well. Recently created a song with Yuri and Hackney. So how was that, and what's it been like? Did you reach out to him? Did he reach out to you? What was the situation?
He calls me every day. No, I'm joking. He's a great guy, a friend of mine, and big fan of Rough Francis, obviously, and I've been trying to get into the Box, their studio, for a number of years to record. And Ryan and I kind of meet in the middle with a humor, I think, where he's the funniest guy I know, and I can't get enough of that. So, and I love to actually be in the studio and be not serious. Like I'm serious about what I want to do, but when I'm not doing it, I would rather someone just let loose, and laugh, and I don't know. It's more fun. So that was attracting me to be able to record with him. Plus, I got him to play drums, so that wasn't bad either.
Rough Francis is very different musically speaking to you and the style of music that you play. So, how do you meet in the middle, creatively?
He didn't let me. He just pushed me around. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, where was it? I feel like Tom Petty is where we met in the middle. Like he's got a love for that and gets my weird country sad boy stuff in that sense, I think. And, I do it to myself, but he was right on with it. And at first I was a little worried, like, oh no, he's going to blast my country tunes, but it was perfect. And if it changed it a little bit, I'm glad it did,
Is there any other collaborations that we should be looking out for as the next album gets pieced together?
Yeah, definitely. The next one's shaping up to look like my boy Luke Autry here, and my other, I should say, friend and bandmate. Sorry, Matt Jaden, who's a drummer and has got his own little project called Dogface, which is really cool. You can check that out on Bandcamp, I think. And as of now, that's probably it. But we usually bring in one or two other kind of secret people towards the end, and whoever might, dust a little confectionery sugar over the top.
As someone who's so prolific and just keeps pumping out album after album, is there much that you learned from the previous album that you then change for the next album, or because it's quite quick and quite, I know, there's quite a flow to the albums? Are those changes more difficult to notice from album to album? It's more over longer periods of time.
Yeah, I just feel like whoever I'm gonna be surrounded with, whoever we're doing it with is really affecting it. And I like that. I welcome that, to have the studio affected, the producer, whoever is helping me to play on the album or record the album. I know Ryan Cohen, Robot Dog, did the last one for me, and he's just amazing because he's got his own. I had done albums with him before with a couple different bands, Eastern Mountain Time, and I think we did some Great Western stuff, and so I had known him a little bit and was a fan of his style of how he worked, and also the sound that he was getting. I want to say, I don't know if he's listening, but I want to say he almost tends to have like a low end that I really like, and I don't know if like someone was trying to make kind of like an Americana honky tonk project would always go to Ryan in the beginning, but I kind of did because I really like those heavy drums. Like not a lot of people do that, especially like the bluegrass people. But like I love that fat bass and like just crack and snare, and he's so good at that. And so I was hoping it could get a little heavier. Just by default, if I did it with him, and plus his style to work with is really good for a guy like me because I got my head in the clouds a lot, and he's like right on the money, and he's nice about it too.
I got a couple last questions before we have to wrap this up. But one thing that stood out to me when I read your bio is that you describe yourself as Americana with vision. So what's the vision?
Well, so far the vision's been to try to make as many albums as I can with as many different people as I can. And that kind of goes back to like the parts vision in general, because it for years we were just called the Parts, and I changed it to Danny and the Parts just to try to convince myself that I was taking charge of my life and trying to get things done, and it actually tricked me into it a little bit, so that was good. But the Parts in general just came from having so many different friends in Burlington that are so talented and amazing, and everyone knows that who lives here. It's like you can't keep one band around here. It's like you have to just play with everybody. You have to just give in to the flow and let people influence you and play with as many people as you can, and have that kind of be the wall I'm kind of breaking down with myself and with others, and maybe with genres, and maybe with specific places and scenes. And I'm hoping that I can just be another person that kind of brings everybody together, really.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, before I let you play us out with one last song, could you let us know where to find your music and where to find you online if people would like to listen to a little bit more of you?
Yeah, we are streaming on all those great services, Tidal, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, iHeartRadio, YouTube, all those great people, and Bandcamp, and we got some CDs and Pure Pop down the street and all that, and I think we have a tape coming soon too, so that should be pretty good. So be looking in the tape section eventually in the next couple of months for the release of Drifting, which we just did. So I'm really excited for that. More incentive to get a tape player.
And you did say that you're not doing too many live gigs right now, but anything lined up that folks should see you at this spring or summer?
Right now, I have a lot of tentatives, and I'm kind of waiting for the go-ahead. So I haven't really gotten a date on those said places yet, but I would say in the next couple weeks we should be narrowing it down to what it should look like. It's hard for me to talk about after the whole year. It's like I hate to say something is something, because I'm always have that
It's
feeling.
get cancelled again.
Yeah, I mean it's hard, but I'm really hopeful, and I know it's gonna work out great, and I'm really looking forward to playing Camp Mead in Bolton Valley. Those are two that I'm really excited to play, like just outside, having people have fun. Camp Mead's down Middlesex, and Bolton's in Bolton. So
Love some gigs at Bolton. It's a
they're great. It's a great place.
spot.
Yeah.
Well, we would love to hear a final song, so what have you got to play us out?
Sure, thank you. This song's called Wasted. Wasted all my time here, looking in bed, can never had a friend here. That's a fact. I wanted you to be here all alone, so lonely at the top now, cold as snow, and I just wanted anything at all. Crystallize each moment in the snow. Memories be faded as my jeans. wasted all my time here all alone, so lonely at the top now, cold as snow. So pack up all your stuff now. 17, ain't never gonna be here, you and me. 'Cause I just wanted anything at all. Crystallize each moment in the snow. Memories be fading as my jeans.
Wasted there by Danny of Danny and the Parts playing us out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
I appreciate you coming in. Well, check us out next week. We've got Ruby in the Rocket Shop. But that's all for tonight. So this has been 105.9 The Radiator, The Rocket Shop. I've been your host, Tom Proctor, and good night.